Okay, am I safe? Am I safe? I think so. All right. Hello, guys. So in this review, The Legend of the Ring has continued far beyond how the Fellowship ended, and things get a little weird. So let's read The Two Towers and find out why. Welcome back to BG's Books. I'm Mr. BG, and today I'll be reviewing The Two Towers by J.R.R. Tolkien. So, as I said, The Two Towers is a direct continuation of The Fellowship of the Ring. In fact, if you don't know, all three books were originally published as one, or they were written as one, and then they had to be published as a trilogy, but modern versions are the unseparated version. Anyway, so yeah, Two Towers picks up immediately where the Fellowship of the Ring left off, and stuff gets pretty weird pretty fast. It's like J.R.R. Tolkien himself has even said that this book is kind of all over the place. It has two major views. The first one is from the rest of the Fellowship, and then the second one is from Frodo and Sam continuing their journey. So yeah, this book is just all over the place. Like, we have a lot of stuff in here, and I don't know if I can keep up, and for that reason, I don't know if you're going to keep up either, so I'm going to try my best to kind of describe what's going on here. But anyway, yeah, to explain how weird The Two Towers is, let's go ahead and discuss what The Two Towers is really about. So The Two Towers picks up right where the Fellowship left off, where basically two groups of orcs, one sent by Saruman, one sent by Sauron, go and attack the Fellowship, and Boromir tries to protect Merry and Pippin, but he's unfortunately killed in the process. So Merry and Pippin are taken by the orcs to Sauron. And so meanwhile, Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli, also known as who is left of the Fellowship outside of the ones that have been separated, they finish taking down all their orcs and go to stop the orcs that have taken Merry and Pippin. But little do they know that the riders of Rohan from the near Kingdom Rohan, they have already killed the orcs, and they're kind of on their way and doing stuff. So Merry and Pippin are now free, and, you know, after witnessing how they got out of that, Merry and Pippin flee into Fangorn Forest, where they meet this group of tree things called Ents. Specifically, the eldest one, Treebeard. And so Treebeard is basically their friend now. He explains what they do, and then so they're kind of safe with the Ents for a while. Meanwhile, Aragorn, Gimli, and Legolas, they are still journeying to try and find Merry and Pippin, but on the way they are surprised to find out that Gandalf is actually alive. Yeah, because if you remember, he fell down that giant chasm below the bridge in the last book, and so he died from that. But basically, so how he's alive here is that after he fell, he managed to kill the Balrog, but he was also killed, but he was resurrected in order to complete his mission to get the Ring to Mordor. But he assures the rest of the company that Merry and Pippin are safe, and that in the meantime they should go to Rohan to free Theoden from Sauron's corruption. Long story short, they get to Rohan, free Theoden of his Saruman corruption, and then he agrees to take them out to this place called Helm's Deep. And so while at Helm's Deep, they get attacked by a lot of orcs, but, you know, because the good guys are just like the coolest people ever, they just wipe the floor with the orcs. Helm's Deep has been defended, and the orcs flee into the forest, where they're never seen again, but presumably they are later taken down by the Ents. So anyway, meanwhile, Gandalf decides to break off from the company a little bit to seek aid from Treebeard. And so they all go to Treebeard, and they find that Merry and Pippin are there. And so after that, they kind of lead a bit of a resistance, I guess you could say, against Isengard, which is, remember, Saruman's kingdom. And they basically attack it and flood it, trapping him inside Orthanc, which is the tower, which is also one of the two towers, maybe, in the book. And so, in there, Gandalf gives Saruman another chance to kind of get rid of this darkness and go back to the light. But Saruman refuses. So Gandalf now uses his new powers, Gandalf the White, to strip Saruman of most of his rank and most of his powers, like his staff, just like it gets destroyed too. Sorry for the stuttering there. Anyway, so after that, one of these people named Wormtongue, who was actually there with Theoden, he throws a thing at Gandalf trying to kill him, but he misses, and then Pippin finds it. And this thing is called a Palantir, which is kind of how Sauron can see things. Anyway, long story short, he gets kind of put in a trance by Sauron, and Gandalf is able to free him, and so now they're just kind of going to wherever with Pippin there. Anyway, and so that's the first half of the book, and then now the second half of the book is actually one that I can tell you about more, like more completely, because this one had a lot less going on. And this finally follows Frodo and Sam. So basically, after their little boat ride, they're kind of walking through Emyn Muil, which is just like a barren wasteland of rocks and stuff. And they know that they've been followed for a while now, but they don't know by whom. Actually, they do. It's Gollum. Anyway, long story short, they kind of goad Gollum into leading them to Mordor because they don't know the way at all. And on the way, Gollum kind of has an inner monologue with his other personality, Smeagol, into whether or not they should betray Frodo and Sam. Anyway, so Gollum leads them through many hazards, and then eventually they are attacked by this group of riders led by Faramir, who is actually Boromir's younger brother. So he tells them that Boromir is dead and stuff, and Faramir decides to not bring in the strangers, even though he should, and so he lets them go. So then, after all of that, Frodo and Sam and Gollum make their way to Minas Morgul, and yeah, so basically what this does is that they have to kind of go through this cave, which is kind of owned by this spider named Shelob, and so they kind of distract Shelob, but as they're getting out, Frodo is attacked by Shelob, and he is basically unresponsive after that. So Sam realizes that Frodo is dead, takes his sword and the ring, and decides to continue on the mission himself. He's very sad about it, but he's like, after I get this mission done, I'm going to come back to you, Frodo, and then we're just going to chill out, I guess. So anyway, while he's on his mission, he sees that orcs have actually taken Frodo's body, where he learns that Frodo is not actually dead, but the poison that Shelob infected him with just made him kind of catatonic at the moment. So he's alive, he's just kind of not doing so well right now. And so the book ends with Sam deciding to go after Frodo to continue the mission. But that is how The Two Towers ends. Alright, so before I get into my thoughts about the book, I kind of want to explain the big elephant in the room. What exactly are the two towers in the book? And there are like many different answers. There are 5 towers in the book. I think the movie makes it more simple. I think the movie says it's like Orthanc and Barad-dûr. I think those are the 2 towers in the movie. But in the book has many different answers. Like on the cover, the darker tower is, of course, Orthanc, which is Saruman's tower. And then the lighter one is Minas Morgul, which was once called Minas Ithil, which is Tower of the Moon, but it was later corrupted by Nazgul and all that. So that's what's on the cover, but Tolkien himself said that you could really consider any 2 towers of the book the 2 towers of the title, because depending on where you are in the story, it could be any single one of the towers. So that's kind of that. I know it's confusing, and there are a lot of other videos on YouTube that could explain what the towers are way better than I ever could, so go watch those videos. But anyway, so yeah, now for my actual thoughts. I thought The Two Towers was a pretty good book, but it didn't hold my interest as much as Fellowship did. Because if you remember, I was able to recap basically every important thing that happened in Fellowship. And then with Two Towers, the later half with Frodo and Sam, I was able to kind of recap that pretty well. But the first half with the rest of the Fellowship and Gandalf and all that, you would notice that my recap of that was kind of all over the place, because the book itself was all over the place. Tolkien himself said that he didn't really like titling this book when he had to make it into a trilogy, because the book is very like wide in variety and stuff. And so I definitely felt that. I did not know what was going on. I've had to look at the plot synopsis many times to find out what's going on. And even though I did, I still probably didn't describe it perfectly. So, I mean, I guess either read it yourself or look up a plot summary for yourself, because that'll explain it much better than I ever could. So I'm sorry for any confusion that I caused. So yeah, do I like it better than Fellowship? No. But is it a bad book? Absolutely not. Because it is the middle chapter of the trilogy, and of course middle chapters in anything are kind of hard, like the second act in a movie or a second thing in a trilogy. So yeah, there's a lot of action, but there's also a lot more explaining than there was in Fellowship. And so yeah, this one just kind of bored me a lot more than Fellowship did. But still, it's a great book. It's still a great series. I haven't started Return of the King just quite yet, but I will very soon. So you can expect a review of that very soon. But anyway, yeah, Two Towers, while not as good as The Fellowship of the Ring or even The Hobbit, I still find it a very good addition to Tolkien's Middle-earth saga. And I cannot wait to see what Return of the King has in store. But yeah, so please go read The Two Towers. But yeah, that is it for the video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. Once again, I'm sorry for my description of the first half of the book. A lot more goes on than that, but I just could not remember how it goes for the life of me. So I'm sorry for that. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And the Hobbit and the Fellowship of the Rings videos seem to be doing pretty well. So hopefully this and the Return video will do very well as well. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe down below if you have not already. I love reading your comments. Please feel free to let me know anything that I missed, because I definitely need help with Lord of the Rings. I promise. I definitely do need help. But anyway, yeah, that is the end of the video. This has been BG's Books. I've been Mr. BG, and
you're back.
Yeah, I'm back. So what?
Now that I got you right where I want you, spider attack!
Uh-oh. Oh, it hurts! Oh, guys, I don't feel well. Ouch. That bite was horrible.